interesting. We have a taste festival on the weekend, and I went down and got hammered, on all the free samples. So, good old Australian way to enjoy the weekend last week.
Good on you. Good to have you on. Back on. You were on here once before, and you wanted to come back on and have a bit of a chat with us, and
Yeah, last time I was on was when we were just talking about games and stuff previously, and wanted to come back on and actually talk about some sort of technology.
Sure. Sounds good, mate. Did you get an Xbox One at all?
Yes, I've got an Xbox One.
Oh, nice. Good one. How are you liking it?
I'm liking it pretty good. The games which are out at the moment, they're interesting me more for having an Xbox One than, the PlayStation 4. So that's why I chose it at the time. So.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, definitely. Are you back, Ozzy? She's not back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, you're back. Okay. Ozzy, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys all doing? Well, I've been listening. You guys are all fantastic.
Good stuff. What have you been up to?
Working a lot and starting a music project, kind of.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, just mostly working. So I got 3 jobs right now.
What sort of music are you working on?
Well, I write a lot of poetry that I've written my whole life, so I've finally decided to work with someone to try to put them to music. It'll probably be some type of electronic experiment type of music. Not like DJ electronic music, but more chill.
Cool.
Kind. Yeah.
Sounds good. Hopefully
start this weekend.
All right. Cool. All right. Belinda, you want to mention that forum post?
Yes, there was a forum post about the IQ3 having an infrared remote control, and some people are saying it's fake.
Yes.
They reckon, because there's a photo up there and they think it's been photoshopped and it's not real.
Yes, indeed. I actually got a Foxtel IQ IR remote for the IQ3 the other day, and I actually just rang up and I said to them I'm having a problem with my Bluetooth, and they sent me one out.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if they've sent you one and you've got it, like, how could it be fake if it's, like, physically there?
And you've seen it, Belinda. I showed you that.
Yeah, you showed me it the other day, so. And it was real. It wasn't a figment of my imagination. So.
No. So you can get them from Foxtel, and thank you to I can't think of his name now. Got it. What's his name? Get into the show notes to
David.
To David for bringing that up.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
David Hesseltine, yeah.
Hesseltine, yes. Hello to him. And so the IQ3 IR remote is real, and you can get it from Foxtel.
Yeah, I was reading some of the other comments. People have got a Logitech Universal remote, and they were having trouble updating it so it can read the IQ3 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know about that one.
Okay.
But some people said you can just do it from the IQ2 settings, and it'll still work with the IQ3. So.
Okay. Interesting. How's your remote going, blended with your Bluetooth?
Yeah, it's a little bit glitchy sometimes, but it's all right. Sometimes you have to press the button more than once for the like TV guide and that sort of thing to come up, but it works eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It
seems to be all right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But if you do have a problem with the IQ3 box, just restart it, or
yeah,
should fix it.
Yeah, when I first got the remote, it was a bit funny, but it's all right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Sounds good. All right, just want to clear that up. So that is real, and it's not photoshopped, and I did get it from Foxtel, and so you can just ring up and see if you can get one.
Yeah, because people confirmed. They said they rang Foxtel, and they confirmed that it was real. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's real.
Good stuff, Linda. Yes, indeed, it is real. All right, let's get into some news from Jody and Jennifer. So play this.
Thanks, Brad. And in the news tonight, Netflix has topped 60 million subscribers as international growth continues to surge. They reached a new milestone, saying that they have over 60 million subscribers, and that It has been for the last several quarters that the company's international expansion was the biggest driver of its customer growth. The company passed 40 million domestic subscribers and 20 million from overseas, adding over 2 million new customers in each category. Also, their revenue grew to 1.57 billion compared with 1.27 billion for the same period a year ago. Profits shrank, though, from 53 million for this period last year to just 23 million this quarter. But the stock did soar in the after-hours trading over 10%. That is a sign that investors are largely concerned with the Netflix customer growth, not its bottom line. Analysts expect that while they are expensive to acquire, these new customers will allow for healthy profits in the future. And to quote Laura Martin, who's an analyst for Needham, she says, "We believe that international subscribers have 2 to 3 times faster profit trajectories than in the U.S." Analysts have predicted smaller domestic growth for Netflix, with many believing that the U.S. market is reaching a point of saturation. And CEO Reed Hastings wrote in their shareholder letter that, quote, "We think strong U.S. growth benefited from our ever-improving content, including the launch of the 3rd season of House of Cards and new shows Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Bloodline." Netflix, by its own design, is now being weighed up against HBO, which just rolled up its first offering that doesn't require a cable subscription. The two are similar in many ways, but when you dig into the financials, it's clear that they have a very different cost structure. Last year, they brought in nearly identical revenue, $5.5 billion for Netflix and $5.4 billion for HBO. Netflix, however, made just $266 million in annual profit compared with HBO's $1.8 billion. There's also a big gap in the subscriber base. HBO ended last year with 138 million total subscribers versus 57.4 million for Netflix. And Jody, I think you have a story on Netflix as well, or no?
From Brad's
you do?
blog, yes.
Okay,
from
cool.
Brad's blog, our own Andrew Cunningham was a contributor. And Andrew, he is lost somewhere on Netflix. Maybe that's why he isn't here tonight. But by now, unless you're living under a rock, you understand that Netflix is now international. And it's certainly taking Australia by storm. Apparently, Andrew did a review, and bottom line is he likes it. What he's telling us is that there's no installation guy who comes out. There's no 12-month minimum connection. No frustrating channel flicking to see if there's anything worth watching. It's simple. You watch what you want. You get what you want. And for a fraction of the price you probably used to pay. Under $10 a month, you can get Netflix streaming to your phone, tablet, or TV and watch content in standard definition, HD, and even 4K. So I think Andrew approves. I know Brad approves. So lots going on in Australia.
Yes,
so what about Apple?
I do approve.
Well, we do have some new news for Apple. There's actually they have something online. There's everything. You can find everything online. But there's a look at Apple's new music app in iOS 8.4. So iOS 8.4 is not out yet, but there is a preview build that is out, and it has an updated music app in the preview build. So let's talk a little bit about it. So first of all, they have an all-new design. The music app has a beautiful new design that makes exploring your music collection easier and more fun. Personalized playlists by adding your own image and description. Enjoy beautiful pictures of your favorite artists in the artist view, and start playing an album right from the album list. And the music you love is never more than just a tap away. They also added a recently added section with albums and playlists that you've recently added. They're now at the top of your library, making it effortless to find something new to play. Just simply tap play on the artwork to listen. Streamlined iTunes Radio. Discovering music with iTunes Radio is easier than ever. You can now quickly return to your favorite stations and recently played. Choose from a selection of hand-curated stations and featured stations, or start a new one from your favorite song or artist. There's also a new mini player. With the new mini player, you can see what's playing and control playback while browsing your music collection. To open Now Playing, just tap on the mini player. They've improved the Now Playing area. Now Playing now has a new design that showcases your album artwork the way it was meant to be. In addition, you can begin wirelessly streaming your music via AirPlay without leaving Now Playing. They also have an Up Next, and it's now simple to find out which songs from your library will play next. Just tap the Up Next icon in Now Playing, and you can reorder, add, or skip songs whenever you like. And last but not least, Global Search. You can now search from anywhere in the music app. Just tap the magnifying glass. Search results are conveniently organized to help you quickly find that perfect song. You can even start an iTunes radio station right from Search. And Jody, I think you have a story about Twitter, something kind of fun going on with Twitter.
Yes, and for those children who love Star Wars, children of all ages, I should say, because I am super excited about Star Wars coming out. It's really, it's all about Star Wars, but apparently Twitter wants to get a little piece of the action. And what they're doing is they're introducing emoji that are characters from Star Wars. A little bit tricky. Right now, there's 3 emoji that are available. They only appear when you use specific Star Wars hashtags, and they're not going to show up on your emoji keyboards. When you use the hashtags #C3PO, #Stormtrooper, or #BB8, that's the cute rolling droid that was introduced, this emoji is going to appear for each respective character. It only seems to work in browser and in Twitter's mobile app. And if you're using Twitter for Mac or third-party apps, you're just going to see the hashtag. Other hashtags like #Star Wars and #SWCA, these will trigger emoji too. I guess until we get a list of all the emoji, it's just going to be interesting how they introduce them. But again, I don't think the story is really about the emoji. It's about Star Wars. Okay, back to you, Jen.
All right. And speaking about emojis, I think this doesn't really, somewhat emojis, sort of, I guess. I don't know, because I can't test it out because I'm here in the United States. But evidently, Facebook is giving the Aussies, our friends in Australia, a new mini social network as an experiment. So it's kind of cool, actually. I wish that we could have this here in the States. But Facebook has redesigned the sidebar of its official app for Android and iOS. And the new version tacks on almost like a whole nother social network onto your phone. Previously, the sidebar allowed you to see who was online to chat. But given that the messaging component of Facebook on mobile has spun into its own app, that kind of doesn't make sense anymore. So Facebook went back to the drawing board and figured out a new way to make sidebar interesting. And what it came up with was a new way for users to share what they're doing. It's designed to complement the status updates by allowing you to share a mini update of what you're doing and what you're feeling and where it's at. Think of it as kind of a new home for the doing or feeling status updates you see on your newsfeed all the time. Swipe to the right on your Facebook mobile app on iOS or Android this week, and you will find yourself in a new pane of your best mates. That's because that is where they will be posting these great little things about what they're up to. So I don't know. I would love to see this, but I haven't seen it yet. So after this launches, I would love to see Brad and Belinda and all of our Aussie friends to take some pics and send it our way. And over to you, Jody.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's PANE or PAIN, because it just sounds like a little bit too much. But hey, that's me. Speaking of PAIN, I got back from my trip, and while I'm traveling, I'm using a MiFi with limited capacity. And Apple threw me this curve. They blew up 8 gig before I turned my computer off with updates. Apparently, I didn't know I had my computer on, and all of a sudden I get this message: all of my data is used, and I didn't do anything. Like, what the heck? I thought it wasn't. I thought there was a problem or a mistake, but no, it was Apple. Thank you very much. So Apple seeded the first beta of OS X 10.10.4 to developers just over a week after releasing OS X 10.10.3 with the photos for OS X app to the public. And that's what killed me, I think. It was the photos,
because it still says it's got days and days and days worth of processing these stupid photos. It's not quite clear yet what's new in the beta, but according to the release notes, the update improves stability, compatibility, and security of your Mac. Yet to be seen. I like updates. I kind of like to be warned that they're going to eat up all my all my data, But if I was in my Wi-Fi, I probably wouldn't care. But I think I should have had an opportunity not to do it. But that's just me. I'm excited. I hope that this does compress and perhaps free up some of the hard drive for the long run.
I ended up disabling all the iPhone or Apple photos just because of that whole thing. I just disabled the entire thing. I just don't like the way it works anymore, and I've just completely gone away from it. But I do have this 10.10.4 on my system because I do have the developer seed, and I have noticed it being more stable than its predecessor. So.
Well, that's good because you blew it up the last time you updated.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Okay. Well, I think that's the news, right?
Yes, that's the news.
That is the news indeed. Thanks, guys, for reading the news. Appreciate that. Great stuff. Let's go to Trent first. Trent, what's your view on the stories, mate?
There's so many. What I find interesting is going back to the Foxtel IR remote thing, how you had to basically, clarify if it was fake or not. I think it's a bit interesting that we're at a stage where people, they don't take what you posted as face value and, going out of their way to say, but it's fake or, making up stuff about it just because, they can't trust someone that it's a legitimate.
Someone mentioned in the post, that I do a blog and I do a technology podcast, this sort of thing, which I do, and then someone came back and saying it's fake and it's Photoshop. How the hell would that can that be Photoshop? It's crazy.
I guess it could be, but people with the skills to do that, they're not doing it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have do Photoshop. So yeah. So
it's not April Fool's Day. They're not going to go out of their way to do an IR remote for Foxtel.
And seriously, how dumb is that person to say that photo is fake? Like, seriously, how can you not see that that remote is real? You see the IR thing on the front of it and that sort of thing, and
you had multiple ones at different angles as well.
Exactly.
So
exactly, yeah. So I just hope that clears up a few things for people. So that is real. So yeah. What else, Trent? Any other views, mate, on them stories?
Not really directly related to the story, but if we go to talk about Netflix for a bit, sure, it's interesting that Optus, I think it's the 15% or 5% of their traffic is actually from Netflix Australia, and those are people which have obviously switched over their accounts and started using the Australian one, and even then, that's an amazing increase of subscribers and actual traffic is going to Netflix. So it's great to see that it's actually, once it's actually launched here, it's actually been a real, pushing, a lot of people are using it essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I've been using Netflix. I really enjoy it, and there's some pretty cool shows on and stuff, and yeah.
I watched Daredevil the other day.
Great show, great episode. I love it. And also, just for Jennifer, I actually checked out Game of Thrones the new season, episode 1.
I saw that you watched it. Yeah. What did you think? I know you haven't really been following it.
No, just watch it. Look good, look cool. I like it. It's interesting. Yeah. Did you watch it all?
Yeah. I watched it. I thought it was great. Yeah. And then I watched Silicon Valley, and that was great too. Yeah.
Great stuff. Trent, any other views, mate? That you love Netflix, mate?
On Netflix, I think it's a great service. What I would like to see, though, is maybe some sort of feature to randomly watch an episode, like, things like Family Guy or American Dad, those cartoon shows where you don't want to watch it from episode 1 to episode, 300 and whatever. If you can just have a random episode out of all of them just show up, that would be pretty cool. It needs to be a feature.
Yeah, definitely. How do you like Netflix on the Xbox One?
I haven't really used it much on the Xbox One. I usually use the application or go into the website on the computer I've got attached to the TV. But then the Netflix app on the Xbox One works relatively well. It's basically very similar to the other applications for Netflix, so it's very intuitive. So
it is indeed, yes. It is indeed. All right, mate. Any other? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's go to Belinda. What's your view on them stories?
Yeah, I thought it was great to hear that Apple are coming up with a new music app for iOS 8.4.
Yeah, looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's been a while since they changed the music app, hasn't it?
yeah, I
'Cause
don't.
I don't remember the last time that they. I've just got music in there, but now I use Spotify, so I don't
same.
really use their music app much. But it's interesting that they're coming out with a new one.
Yeah, it looks nice and
Yeah. Yeah, and the Netflix, I'm not surprised that they've got so many subscribers because there's a lot of options on there and it's very affordable as well.
Definitely.
Like, they've even got the series of Lost on there. So you can get lost in that as well. I didn't understand it when it was on at the time, so it just ended really weirdly. So I'm just going to try and watch it again and try and see what I missed.
Have you seen Prison Break?
Prison Break, yeah, that's great.
Have you seen all the whole seasons?
I like it. Not all the seasons, but I've got to catch up on that one.
Which one are you up to at the moment?
Season 1. So
Season 1, yeah.
Yeah, a bit behind.
Love it. Great show. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and also the Facebook thing, mini social network. I just brought it up on my Facebook thing, and it looks pretty interesting. You can just give updates on what you're doing when you're feeling excited, hanging out with people and stuff like that. So,
what did you set yours to, Belinda?
I just put feeling excited because I wasn't sure because we're doing the podcast. What would that be classified as? Maybe it could be hanging with mates. I was thinking.
Well, you can actually make your own and then choose your own icon.
Oh, okay. You can make up your own thing.
I said I was recording the podcast, and I added like a smiley face thing to it.
Cool. It's a pretty nice touch that they've added there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame the US people can't get it. Why have they added Australian only, do you reckon?
I'm not sure.
Maybe a smaller test market, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just to see how it would turn out.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. All right, let's go to Jennifer. Anything else, Belinda, you want to say?
I just thought the Twitter Star Wars emoji was interesting because what was the one last week we were talking about? There was another emoji.
That was the Star Trek one or something.
Star Trek, yeah. So now Star Wars have come on board. That's interesting.
I love them icons. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
They look fantastic. Jennifer, what about you? What's your view on them stories?
Well, like Belinda, I'm not too surprised that Netflix has gained a good amount of subscribers from its international expansion. And oh gosh, I need to try the little Twitter emojis just to see. Granted, I'm sure that I'll forget about them when I'm tweeting, and nor do I ever really even, have a huge desire to do it, but now that it's out there, I just want to try it and see what happens with the Twitter emojis. I think it's kind of fun, and I am excited about the new Facebook changes that are rolling out for the app. So hopefully the test goes well over in Australia, and then they roll it out all across the world. So that would be great. But that's about it. I don't have that many other views on the stories.
All right. Okay. Good stuff. Jennifer, what about you, Jody?
Well, here's my take on Netflix. It's kind of interesting. If you think back, I want to say it was possibly a year or 2 years ago, Netflix made a huge error. And what they did was they took their subscriber base that had been paying religiously, $10 or whatever it was a month, and they divided it into the CDs that you could get mailed to you versus the streaming service. And there was a huge backlash. A lot of people started canceling their service right and left. And what's amazing to me has been the recovery that they've made. A lot of companies getting themselves into a bind like that would not be able to dig their way out. They sent an apology out to everyone. They reversed the decision. And I think it's amazing that they're rolling out international viewership, new programming. So truly, they have made a really remarkable recovery. And I think that's like the most telling story of success. You look at some of the products that have rolled out. You look at Google Glass, and it's a shame because obviously they didn't roll it out correctly. It was limited in appeal, then it got the snob kind of connection to it, and now it's dead. It's unfortunate. You look at Apple, as they introduced the watch, I think they're doing that the right way. You can get it. You might not get it right away, but it's available. It's cool. And, you look at those two companies, you can see that one of them obviously had a little bit better strategy than the other. Netflix, I think, is a winner. And, I wouldn't have said that when they cut their services, but very impressed with where they are right now. And I love the programming.
Good stuff. Anything else, Jody?
Isn't that enough?
That is, that is not enough. You haven't been on for like weeks, and we miss your voice.
Oh, thank you.
Sure, I could do her voice next show.
Belinda, just going back onto that Facebook thing, I can't see your status thing on the side there. Did you do it?
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I've done it.
I can't see it on there, and I'm not sure why.
Because it's got it up the top there as well.
Yeah, you can see the different other people's what they've set there, but I can't see yours.
Oh.
For some reason, that's why.
Secret?
Yeah, maybe she's secret. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Linda, do you have a secret that you want to share with us?
But anyway, let's not go there. Let's go to Steve. Steve, what about you, mate?
Wait a minute. Wait. What's going on?
What's that?
Is there something going on there?
No.
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I like it when you giggle like that, Brad.
Okay, yeah. I'm just...
There's something mischievous going on.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Steve, what about you?
Yeah, it's funny talking about Netflix. Actually, I'm considering taking a look at Netflix again.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Do it for sure. Sons of Anarchy season 7 is going to be on there April 24th. Jacob said to me the other day.
Well, actually, I'm also interested in their some of the original programming, especially with. I'm trying to think of that new show. Somebody mentioned it earlier on Netflix. Not the House of Cards, but Daredevil. Yeah,
Daredevil. Yeah, good show.
Yeah. And also with, somebody also mentioned Game of Thrones, because today I bought the season 1 Game of Thrones.
Nice, on DVD.
Yep, on DVD there, so 10 episodes, I'm going to be watching that.
What made you buy a DVD, Steve? You didn't want to sign up to HBO now?
Well, not really. I mean, I was just primarily interested in that show, so I'm going to...
How much did you pay for the show?
It was only like $14 for the whole first season. It says special pricing, so.
Well, you get more than with HBO now. You get more than that. What you pay for?
Well, yeah, probably. Well, I just wanted to see if I liked the series, but not necessarily. I don't necessarily like all. I don't know if I'd like all of HBO series. I mean, there's certain ones I'm interested in.
Yeah, right.
Steve, it is such a bargain. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, I watch it probably every day. I'm binge watching something or another.
Wow.
What are you talking about? HBO Go now?
Netflix.
Oh, Netflix,
what are you watching, Jody, on Netflix?
Oh gosh, right now I'm binge watching Criminal Minds.
Okay, cool.
I love binge watching. It's fun.
Good stuff.
I know, right?
We're gonna binge on a lot of stuff, aren't we?
What device do you use, Jody, on for Netflix?
Which what?
What device do you use to watch Netflix on?
Oh my gosh, my iPad. And I took it on the trip, and I was watching it on the trip too, just on the iPad because it's convenient.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Good.
Before you
choice.
maxed out on your data.
Nah, I was in Wi-Fi when I was watching it. Believe it or not. No,
okay.
the maxed out on my data was the stupid update on the Mac.
Mm.
Oh.
Ridiculous. 8 gig. I turned it off. I don't even know how much more it had to go.
Gee,
Well,
crazy.
did you have it set for automatic updates? Because if you have it set on automatic updates, it'll download everything.
I think it is set on automatic updates, and it didn't even occur to me because
You got to turn it off. That's what I noticed. I'm like, I got to turn this off because then some things I don't want to install because I do have a developer, or not a developer's account, but a public seed on another one, and my graphic drivers, conflict with the drive, so I can't have everything automatically downloading.
Well, that's probably smart. I guess usually I'm in Wi-Fi, and it didn't even occur to me. And I hadn't even used the monthly allotment. I had upped it to 6 gigs, and I get this note, I'm at 8. I'm like, holy mackerel, what the heck?
Wow.
That's the Mac. Yeah. So.
Far out.
The good news is Verizon does comp you 2 gig if you call them. Don't tell them I told you that.
Okay. Steve, any other views in them stories, mate?
Not really. It was just some mostly with Netflix. Like I said, I may take a look at it again.
All right, please do, mate. Let us know how you like it. Jacob, any views on them stories, mate?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I've seen the Foxtel remote myself.
Okay, yeah, okay, go ahead.
You showed me via FaceTime.
Yeah, and?
It's not fake.
There you go. It is not fake.
It's actually much nicer.
It is very nice. Remote.
Yeah, I found out sometimes Bluetooth can be very, very touchy.
Yeah, it can. And it's also laggy as well. It gets a little bit laggy when you're using that remote too, Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's only at best when you have the thing only a couple inches away.
Yeah, definitely. All right, any views on them stories, Jacob?
That was the only one I was really, really batting for.
Just the Foxtel remote?
And I like to see the Star Wars.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, for the last couple days since they released the trailer, my Facebook has been all Star Wars.
Okay.
It's driving me crazy.
Who's been posting Star Wars stuff?
Verge.
Everyone.
Oh, The Verge, yeah. The Verge, Chris Perello.
Verge, Gadget, you name it.
It's all over the TV too.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go. It's just, it's a little bit overkill.
I think there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. They showed a trailer
there is.
for it on Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
I'm not really a Star Wars fan, but anyway. Jacob, all right, mate. What else do you want to say, Jacob? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's about it, Brad.
All right. So, Trent, welcome back to the podcast, mate.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
What have you been up to last time we spoke?
A lot of things. But I think the main thing, which is why I wanted to come back on the podcast, was I got a Microsoft band.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's my second attempt at trying to get fit.
Oh, nice.
Last time I got a Fitbit, when you buy something and invest money into it, you obviously want to use it. So
yeah, definitely.
First one was the Fitbit. Now it's the Microsoft band I'm trying to use to get fit by, paying over priced technology just to get that, sense of having to do something. But it's a great piece of technology. It's obviously got a lot of flaws as it's a, first generation device, and, but it works real well. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. How much was it? How much is it, mate? How much is it to buy?
It retails at $199. You can only get it at the moment from the UK and America, so it's only just started being sold in the UK. It would have been a little bit cheaper if I had bought it from the UK, obviously with exchange rates being in the gutter. But I think I ended up paying $305 all up for it. So it's a little bit of a markup, but, it's still not that overpriced. It's cheaper than the most expensive Fitbit at the moment. In terms of Australian pricing. So, and it's got the same amount of features and stuff when you compare the two. So,
yeah, definitely. It's unbelievable the money, isn't it? Sending money to people overseas and this sort of thing. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely in the gut of a dollar. It's interesting that the New Zealand dollar is getting better, if not, on par with the Australian dollar at the moment. And it's never been like that, as long as I've been alive. So.
Jake, move to Australia, will you, so I can send you money instead of sending it to the US?
You come here.
So anyway, Jennifer, any questions for Trent?
I've been wanting to upgrade and get a new fitness band. So what you're talking about with the Microsoft one, that it's appealing to me. And has it helped keep you fit at all? Like, are you keeping up with it? What I end up doing is my Fuel Band ended up in a drawer. The Android Wear watch that I would wear and the Gear S watch, both my Android watches, they end up in on the desk, or I end up forgetting to put it on. So are you remembering to put it on every day, and has it helped you stay fit?
I remember most days, but obviously it's a new device because I've only just got it a few weeks ago. So I try and, I'm more aware of that. Hey, I don't have it on, so I, whack it on. But, I went out because I live in a small town and we've got some mountain ranges where the lookout is. So, there's a few tracks up there, and I took it's up there, and basically the first turn, it's probably about 2Ks, to the second lookout, but halfway between there, I just realized I'm not fit and turned around. So, so the tracking for the session shows the 10-minute walk to the point where I stopped and turned around, but I had a 10-minute rest while I was there, and then I had the 10-minute walk back, and then it shows that because of all this, if I was to have a cooldown period, it turned out to be something ridiculous like 36 hours or something, because it actually shows what it recommends the cooldown period to be. And I'm just like, that's a bit out of whack there. And it also tracks the heart rate, so it probably wasn't the optimum heart rate as well. I probably need to get out a bit more, but yeah.
Wow, that's funny. That's funny.
But I love how it tracks the GPS as well. I'm pretty much all devices with the GPS put it on a map now these days anyway. But I just like, because there's no real, if you look at Google Maps, for example, there's no real tracks on the map area. And so, I can basically, if I walk the track, I can then see what it looks like in terms of the land mass, I guess.
That's cool. I like that it does that. That's really great. That's something that I haven't seen the other ones do. So that's different.
And it also shows the steepness. It's sort of like a guess based on the steepness and stuff, and also the pace. So it'll have like a little turtle icon, which is green, and it goes all the way up to a hare, which is like red. And most of my pace was, not very optimum for various areas.
Do you have to sync it at the end of the day, or does it automatically sync with an app on your device, or how does that work?
Yep, so it works on pretty much all the phones, so Windows Phone, Android, and iOS, which is a bit different to the Apple Watch, for example, which is tied down, and a few other fitness bands, which are also mainly on Android and iOS. Basically, once it's paired via Bluetooth, you can have it separate and just pair it back to your device at the end of the day, for example. Otherwise, if you keep it synced, it will show the notifications from your phone, like SMSs, calls, and all that other stuff, which pretty much every smartwatch is doing these days.
Gotcha. So what else have you been up to? What else are you getting into? So you have this cool new toy, so that's awesome. And your website looks like it's still going. You're doing some reviews. What you're reviewing?
Mainly been reviewing video games lately, and my site's been a bit stagnated as well because I have a few personal issues which I've been dealing with since we last talked. But yeah, I plan to get back into it at some stage and do more reviews and be more active in the community as I once was.
Well, the nice thing about it being your site and your thing is that you can take those times of absence when you need to and then come back fresher than ever and get back into it. So I think we've all been there. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, we all have had those lulls, those, certain things in our personal lives that cause us to take a break from things. So yeah, that's completely understandable. Yeah. Well, good stuff.
Trent, what's your view on the Apple Watch, man?
The Apple Watch seems like, like all Apple devices, they really do style really, really well, and they can really sell that to their markets. They're basically the cool brand, essentially. It does look like a really nice device, and I do like the idea of the applications and stuff, and it does also do the heart rates and, the GPS and all that running and fitness stuff, which you would expect from a fitness band. So the question then becomes, do you buy a fitness band or do you buy a smartwatch? But the market, as I was describing the Microsoft band, it's sort of blurring together between a smartwatch and a fitness band. So that's sort of cool in that regard. But the biggest issue for me is what type of applications would people legitimately want to use as a watch based app. Like, it boggles my mind what people would do with it. Like, that's my issue there. Like, with the Microsoft band, it's a much smaller screen, so it's not real full apps. But just walking around, the only thing I could legitimately think that I would want to have on it is maybe an Xbox music application, so I can just, switch between the music I have on my phone, for example, if I've got some headphones in. That's the only thing I could really think it's missing that it could have. And then the Apple the Apple Watch, sorry, I'm looking at the applications which are coming out for it, and a lot of them which are getting developed, basically a smaller, compressed version of what's already on the iOS devices. So it sort of confuses me what people would actually willingly want to use on a small screen if that's what the developers are putting out at the moment.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, well, actually, with the remote app on the Apple Watch, you can actually control it with your Apple TV and stuff, which is pretty cool. That may come in handy for people if they've got an Apple TV and stuff. Steve or Jody, any questions for Trent?
Oh, you can go, Jody.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious. I saw you did a review in December, I guess, on the 3DS. Have you had a chance to play with it anymore? Has your opinion stayed the same?
Yeah, my opinion has pretty much stayed the same. The new one I was very negative against. I thought, why would you basically buy a new one before I actually had some hands-on with it? But when I went down to PAX last year, I basically, played around with it and was like, wow, the 3D actually works. Because for me, one of the main issues was, I couldn't really see the 3D properly, and I would get headaches if I do see the 3D properly and get some playtime out of it. So I was quite surprised that's because it has a tracking device on the screen. It is actually a lot more stable. So that's really great that I can actually use the 3D. And the camera is also, it's not better, but it's got a better compression algorithm in it. So basically, it's a little bit more usable there. I've always thought the camera, was a bit pointless. Like it's too low megapixels, too low everything to actually be a legitimate thing you would want to use. I always found playing the AR games which the device has, it's just not really usable because you can hardly see on the screen what's actually happening.
Yeah, it's funny because my sister had one, and so now I've got it, and it's confusing. I'm not really a gamer, but I thought it was really cool the way it's on two screens, and then you can move it all around, and it's like you're immersed in the game kind of. So I was just curious what you thought of them. Do you think it's like, of all the game systems that you've played with, which one do you like the best?
I always like I'm a bit impartial to the older consoles of past, generations, as much as, I look at the games which I've enjoyed over the years of playing games, it's weirdly in the newer consoles, I just have that attachment to the older, devices and, the games which are around then, even if I hated them. It's just that there's just something interesting about, how they were made back then and what, was sacrificed because their technology was just not there. For example, the Game Boy, where, it didn't really have a backlight screen. So I saw a comic posted on the internet a few days ago where it was something like, people wouldn't understand this, where, you use the traffic lights, to basically see what the game you're playing because there's no backlit screen, just stuff like that.
That's funny. Steve, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped in. Did you have questions too?
Oh, no, I was going to say, just you can go ahead and go first. That way we wouldn't have to worry about jumping over each other.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to, of course, it seems lately you've been geared to toward gaming on your website. So I was kind of wondering, what's the one you're really getting into right now? What is your main game you've been playing the most?
It's not really a game I've been playing the most, but a game which has really struck a chord with me, and something which, I legitimately say is the pinnacle of video gaming, is a game called Life is Strange. It's an episodic based point-and-click game. It's, very simple in a lot of regards, but I just find that, based on the story and how a lot of the sound effects work, and in terms of just the progression of everything the game has, it's really the pinnacle of video gaming for me, I guess. So I, really tout it as, a really good game to basically get people to play, because it's, while it's not a shooter or something like that, it's just got everything which game design has, sort of progressed, in that genre. And it's great to see, something interesting and fresh in the industry at the moment when, a lot of people playing video games are actually getting fatigued about playing games because there just hasn't been that change in what's available.
That's very interesting. Yeah, if they could come out with some games that are, I'm not saying totally different, but, of course I do have my favorites like first-person shooters, but it would be nice to have a new type of category or something, a combination thrown together that somebody hasn't done before, perhaps, and it really gets people's attention.
In terms of first-person shooters, something interesting which I liked last year, which I played a few rounds, is a game called Screen Sheet, where you're basically looking at the other screen. You see, the whole four-grid screen like back in the old days of multiplayer, and the idea is the characters, the other players, are invisible, so you have to look at the other screens and basically cheat on the location where they would be. And it's just an interesting approach to, the typical first-person shooter in that regard.
Oh, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I never tried that before. It'd be kind of interesting. Well, I don't know. Personally, I probably wouldn't do it if it was considered cheating, but,
Well, it's the name of the game, essentially. It's what you're meant to do in the game.
Oh, okay,
but it's just playing off that sort of, old, people how you used, back in the olden days, people used to cheat, see where someone else used to be on the screen. But that's actually the premise of the game.
Is it like radar or something? Where you can see their location?
No, it's not radar. You basically see the other people's screens. So it's an online game. And it's also got local multiplayer. But the idea is you're looking at the other people's sort of boxes on the screen, which has their players. So like the olden days, 4-player multiplayer, that sort of
I
how
see
the
what you're
screens
saying,
divided up. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting, Trent. Interesting, mate. Yeah, I love the Xbox One, and Jacob's got one. Jacob, any questions for Trent before we wrap up, mate?
No, but I could interject with the game he was talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Because a couple of the characters have horses' heads on it.
Really?
Yeah, like what Chris Voss has.
Okay.
So you got like 4 numbers, but there's even like a clue game inside there.
Okay.
Yeah, you try to find out. Like you get 3 cards, and if you got the right color, you can kill the character right away. All
right, Trent. Thanks for being on the show, mate. What's your final view of the show, mate? And do you want to mention anything before we go? Where can they get hold of you and that sort of good stuff?
Yeah.
Brad, I was just going to ask a question. I didn't ask a question.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Sorry, Belinda. Go ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, I was just going to ask, what's the latest Xbox video game that you've been playing? Your thoughts on it?
Probably the latest one probably is Life is Strange, because that's the episodic game which sort of started. There was a release in February, then March. Not March, April, early this month, and then there'll be one next month as well. So that's basically what I've been playing lately. Haven't really been playing much other games just because I haven't really had the time to do that at the moment. But I've also been playing on the PC City Skylines, so a good old-fashioned city simulator game. So,
Cool. Sounds good. What about you, Belinda? What have you been playing on your Xbox?
I always play GTA 5. I'm addicted to it, so.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I play other games and then I play that, and I'm like, I've got to play that all the time. So I don't know. I should play other games though.
Other games are cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Trent, what's your final view of the show, mate? Where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, so people can get hold of me obviously on my website, which is Trinus.com, and I've basically the same for my Twitter handle is just at Trinus. So
okay.
Other than that, I don't really have any public social networks at the moment. So.
All right, good stuff, mate. Appreciate your time. Thanks for being on.
No worries.
And enjoy your Xbox One and your blogging and that sort of stuff. And hope you come back on another time.
Yeah, I hope I do too as well.
Yeah, just hook it up with Jacob. He'll organise it. Belinda, what's your final view of the show, and where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, it was a fantastic show. Some very interesting topics discussed.
Yeah,
you can catch me at bdemi, and that's on Twitter.
Okay, give me on Twitter at Brad Oz and Techwebcast. Jacob Jones.
You can follow me at jazzbot326691Z.
Good stuff, Matt. What's your final view of the show?
We all rock. We rock this show hard. We do good. We do good all the time.
This is not a music podcast, mate.
No, I'm just saying we do the good show.
Yeah, we do a good show every day, every week.
That's what I'm meaning.
Okay.
Jacob lost the game.
What's that, Trent?
I was saying maybe we should do a music podcast.
A music podcast? Yes, we should. We also should do an iPad podcast as well. But yeah, do you have an iPad, Trent?
Only for work.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool, man. Jennifer, what's your final view of the show, and where can they get it you?
Thought it was a fantastic show and great connecting with you again, Trent, and happy to have you back on the show, Jody, because you had a couple weeks out, so great to have you back on, my my news buddy. And then people can find me on the show, online rather, at jenniferruggiero.com.
Good stuff.
Or jruggiero on Twitter.
Good stuff. Do you and Jody talk during the week? Or just on the podcast, Jennifer, or how often do you talk?
Well, no, I guess we should talk more often. I think we just live busy lives.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just curious to know. Yeah, just because we all do a podcast, and I talk to you during the week, Jennifer and Jody, and talk to Jacob, and I talk to Belinda, and I'm just curious, to know if you guys talk to each other as well.
Yeah, on occasion. Yeah, on occasion we do, definitely.
What about Steve? Do you talk to Steve much?
On occasion, I'll talk to everyone on the
every
show.
hour. No, I'm just kidding. No.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Day and night.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's go to Steve. What's your final view of the show, Steve?
Like the show. I like talking about the Netflix and all that. I'm big into movies and TV show binge watching with like Jody's talking about. And you can find me on Twitter as Chatterbox_live.
Good stuff, Steve. Thanks for being on, mate. Appreciate your time and doing the video each week.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for doing the intro as well this week. Jody, thanks for being on. What's your final view of the show, and where can they get hold of you?
I am so grateful to be back. My view of the show, obviously, is that I'm glad to be here. And great show always. Enjoy the input, the insights from each of you. You each have your own perspective, and enjoy just conversing. And where can you find me? I wish I could find myself, but you can find me at jodyrains.com. You can find me at webmarcom.net. On Twitter, I'm Sunswept, and find me hopefully here at Techwebcast.
And hopefully you'll have an Apple Watch soon. When are you going to pre-order yours, Jody?
Well, I went. That's why I was asking you. I went online to pre-order it, but I missed. I wasn't getting up at 3 a.m, and plus I was on the road. Now they're saying June, I guess.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I would try to go in the store on the 24th.
Yeah, no, they won't have them installed for sale. You can't buy them. You can't just walk in and buy one. You need to pre-order it.
Dag nabbit. Well, then I guess I'll have to order it.
That sucks. But yeah, we might have to wait to see what happens on the 24th. But that may change. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get one eventually.
Are you gonna get one? Belinda, what's your view on the Apple Watch?
Yeah, I want to get one, but it's just a matter of having the money for it. So, yeah, they look pretty good.
Yeah,
like something I would use.
Yeah, but as I said, go into the Apple Store and check them out before you buy one, before you order one.
Yeah, I should go there and check it out.
Yeah, try one on and stuff and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I'm like Jody. I've got a skinny wrist, so.
Yeah, so have I. So,
yeah. So I need ones that aren't going to like hang off my arm or anything like that. So
yeah, Jake, what about you? You going to pre-order the Apple Watch, mate?
No need because I don't have a device for it.
Oh, you don't.
No.
Okay.
Unless someone can sponsor me one.
Well, you got the iPad, right?
God.
Yeah.
That'll connect, won't it? I mean,
no, that won't support it. You only need the iPhone 5S something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe someone can send Jacob an iPhone 6 up, maybe.
Yep.
For free.
Or you can get a Microsoft Band instead.
What's that, Jennifer?
I'll say.
What's that?
No, I just laughed. That's
Yeah,
all. I just laughed. Like
I got
that's
an
gonna
old
ever
flip
happen.
phone.
Yeah, no, I thought
Like, I work in the wireless industry. We don't even get Apple phones for free. We all have to pay for them. So
I thought it might. Someone out there may have a spare iPhone 6 laying around. They can give Jacob, but
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
not much.
Sorry, Jacob.
Sorry. Jacob.
It's okay.
You'll just have to look at the clock.
Yeah, use your clock on the phone. Oh.
On my iPad.
On the iPad, yeah. On the iPad. All right. Thanks, guys, for being on. Appreciate it. See you next week if we're around.
Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer.